Hello and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to games set in the HORUS Heresy. And today we've got something a little bit different for you. We have a Zone Mortalis Escalation League, which is quite exciting. Today I'm joined by Nick. Hello. G'day, Nick. Now, some of you may or may not know Nick's work. Nick has been a cameraman on the 30k channel for some time now, so he's here to show his hobby with us, which is fantastic. And we have Jamie with us. Jamie, g'day.
All right.
Now, you're a fellow Mechanicum player, is that right?
I am, yes. Not for long, but I just started doing it.
Fantastic news. So Nick has started Imperial Fists and Jamie has started Mechanicum, as we've said, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to do a small 500, 1,000 point, 1,500 games, 3 games over a couple of months, get these guys motivated, and you guys out there who are collecting armies to try and do that as well. So we're going to talk about, Nick has a nice way of painting all of his models, and Jamie does his a little bit differently. We're going to go through that and talk through lists and options, and then get to the guts of the Zone Mortalis League that we're going to do. We're going to start this segment off with Jamie, who's brought his lovely Mechanicum in for us and his Inquisitor 28 models. So Jamie, thanks for bringing the stuff in for us.
That's all right, pleasure.
Now, if you would like to follow Jamie on Instagram, you can see loads of photos of his models and work in progress. And also, if you have any questions for him, you can sort of ask him direct. It's a little bit hard to answer questions through the channel, and I have to go to Jamie, and then Jamie comes back to me. So you can just ask him direct. His Instagram name is GetSomeMarines1, and you can see that on the side of the screen there. I'll also include a link in the description below. So Jamie, you've brought Mechanicum.
Yep.
I'm a big Mechanicum fan myself, as everyone knows. What motivated you to collect Mechanicum?
It started off, I was looking at getting back into the hobby after being a bit disillusioned with it all.
Okay.
And I started collecting a solar list. It's a very small solar list for doing Zone Mortalis at my local club, which is
where we are now.
Which is where we are now.
Yeah.
I had a large Mechanicum presence in it because I've played David quite a lot, and I've really enjoyed the models. They're quite nice, and at the same time they're quite a brutal list. They're quite characterful and brutal. Unfortunately, I've painted infantry armies a lot over the years, and I lost the will to paint very, very quickly.
They're very time consuming.
Very time consuming. But with Mechanicum, I could spend a lot of time on larger models with a lot of detail that people would see rather than being hidden away, and I could do it at my own pace. And at the same time, 10 models for Mechanicum is a fair size list. 10 models for Solar is
less than 100 points.
Less than 100 points. It's ridiculous.
That was the same reason I went for Mechanicum, if I'm honest. It was the model count. I don't have a lot of time to paint and model, so for me, Mechanicum was just a super fast list. They're fairly tough as well, and you can get a lot of points. You can get a really great army for your points. So. Okay, cool. Thank you. And you've also got the Inquisitor 28 stuff over there as well, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Tell us about that.
What that is, it stemmed from a 54mm game that Games Workshop used to do years ago. A lot of conversion work, a lot of large-scale miniatures. People couldn't get hold of the larger miniatures when it stopped. And a lot of people also played a Necromunda game. And what's happened is there's a very well-known group of individuals that have made a crossover of the two rule systems, which makes it a lot more playable, a lot quicker, but also you can have in-depth with very few models and basically do what you want in the universe. It's what your imagination's the limit. And that really appealed to me. Again, with my time constraints and what I enjoy doing, it was just what I wanted to do. So I've gone with that, but at the same time, the Heresy universe, because of the books I've read and the lore of it, I've gone for a Heresy era style unit. So basically it's based all around the Malcador, and his agents at the same time about the road traders that are operating, and that's what I've gone for with this, so it can link into my Mechanicum and my Solar Auxiliary at the same time.
Those models you've done there, they're the Titan Tech Pit or the Titan Guard, aren't they? Or
They are.
I can't remember what they're called.
They are the Titan crew on foot from Forge World.
Yeah.
They all came about from Jess Goodwin artwork. He did a artwork piece for Road Trader many years ago. Of the Titan crew, those sort of models, but for the Imperial Navy. So that was the Imperial Navy crewmen and armsmen, armed and on foot. And those models are so close, I had to do it.
Yeah.
Had to go with it. It's something I've wanted to do for years, so I went with it.
They're really cool. They remind me of the models. I don't know if anyone at home remembers there was a load of models called Mask.
Yes.
And they have like the helmet, they're like deep sea diver helmets almost, and you could take the helmets off and stuff. They remind me of those. Yeah. But I think when we get to our escalation games, I think the models you've made there will be great little objective markers, or we'll do our own custom missions that will incorporate some special rules and maybe escort a character off a particular board, or we'll do something really cool and unique. And doing this project with Nick and Jamie gives us a really great opportunity to do something quite unique and quite different, and also small scale as well. The games that we produce at the moment are massive, lumbering 3K 2-hour beasts, whereas this will be a relatively quick game, and it'll be really interesting, I think. So I'm really excited about it. I think you'll agree as well. Jamie's done a fantastic job with his Mechanicum, and you can look on the shoulder pads of the Thalaxes. You can see in the photos that they're all hand painted checkers on there, aren't they? And
another reason I wanted to do Mechanicum was to push my painting skills. With these guys, I started doing a lot of little freehand bits here and there, and weathering. Moved on to, I think the Castellax were first, then the Thalax, and the Magos. I started trying to do my reds and trying to do them all nice and pretty. Sure. And then I've got my Thanatar here as well, and I tried something completely new. There was a weathering article on White Dwarf that was literally just using GW paints and the thinner, the medium that they do, and I really wanted to try that because it was quite simple.
Yeah.
But it looks really nice without even using weathering powders.
And you've done some great hazard stripes on the back end of the ammo box for the Thanatar there.
I've tried to do as much as I can freehand with that, and then a lot of the little scripture artwork and stuff like that on the totems.
That's fantastic. And the bases are quite unique as well. Where are the bases from?
They're all handmade. Every single one. I've used plasticard from a local hobby shop, and they're all cut by hand. The little extra details, all plasticard, chain, plaster pipes. And then once I've done that, it's quite a simple way of painting them. It's spray it black, spray it silver, highlight washes. Then I use Forge World weathering powders to basically put a layer on, hard coat it, and then wipe off any excess, so it leaves it all nicely in the recesses. But at the same time, the hazard stripes give it that depth and detail to try and bring it out, so it doesn't look so plain and standard. Yeah,
it looks absolutely fantastic, and there'll be loads of photos attached to the Facebook page. So if you guys want more photos of this than included in the video, then you can see them. So that's great. Right, Jamie, thank you so much for bringing these in.
Okay.
We're going to move on to Nick, and then we'll get you back at the end, and we'll just talk about the campaign. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Thank you. Next up, we have Nick. Nick, thank you so much for coming. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Nick has been the cameraman at the 30K channel, and I personally felt it was a crying shame to keep you behind the camera because you have some beautiful models.
Thank you.
And it was a great opportunity that you've just started Imperial Fists, and it was a great way to get you into this little escalation league with Jamie. So here we are. Now, I did say you've got Imperial Fists. You used to come to Heresy, haven't you? After doing 40K for so long, you finally
2 years I've been doing it.
Oh, okay.
Now. 2 years, 2 and a bit years maybe.
Okay. And you started with the Krieg.
Yeah, I came back because of I saw the Death Corps of Krieg models. I used to play, I don't know, 15 years ago, a long time ago, and then come back and started doing the Krieg.
Yeah.
Of which I went a bit mad, and I've got about 6.5K.
You have a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of it's infantry as well, isn't it? You've got ranks and ranks of them.
At least 200 infantry, probably more.
That's mental, isn't it?
And horses.
Yeah. You got a lot of horses.
Yes, 20 horses.
It's like the Charger Light Brigade all over again.
Absolutely.
So that's cool. So you have a massive Krieg army, and people will know you from Instagram as Krieger 40K. Is that right?
That's me.
That's you, and you've documented a lot of your models and your painting on there. So
yeah,
if you want to see more of Nick's stuff, please follow him on Instagram. And if you have any questions for him, you can sort of ask him direct. I don't think you'll mind answering them too much. As long as they're not stupid questions, you'll be all right. And then recently you branched out into Harlequins as well.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Well, yeah, I wanted something very, very different to the Krieg because I was fed up with painting green. So instead, I went full Harlequin, proper old school, not the new schemes where it's one or two colours. No. I went with all the colours, as you can see, the full rainbow. And it's a very different way of painting.
And playing as well.
Well, yeah, and playing. Yeah, it's completely polar opposite. Sitting back and shooting, it's charging forward and cutting people up in combat, caressing them to death.
Yeah, why not?
So it's taken me a long time to paint them, and now I'm going back the other way. So I want something that I can paint with a reasonable amount of speed.
Yeah. Yeah, and moving on to that, so you started Imperial Fists.
Yep.
It's a really great colour scheme you've got. It's more of a dulled yellow rather than sort of a bright yellow as well, which is quite nice. And you've brought some of the sticks that you do.
Yeah. So I've been painting them as quickly as possible. And one of the it was the Forge World Open Day. We got to do a seminar with Mark Bedford.
Yeah.
And he gave around sticks, and he'd done every single legion, and he said you can paint them up in 5 guys, 2 hours, no problem. And basically do it 5 at a time, airbrush your base colour, or he says rattle can them on, rattle can your base colour, rattle can the highlight, pick out your details, varnish transfers, then wash, and stick them on the bases.
Yeah.
And it's really quick.
And it's really effective as well. You'll see in the close-up photos, Nick's done such a great job in such a short space of time. And you've got various sticks. You've got one at work, one at home, and whenever you get some time, you're just on it, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been running 5. I do 5 at work on my lunch break, so that takes there's 5 lunch breaks to get them all blacked out, and then I can bring them home and then do all the riveting and washing and transfers. And
that's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry.
So you're ploughing through them, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I've done 15 in a week.
Wow.
And I need to do that like 5 more times, really.
Fantastic.
Well, it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's good. And you did the same thing, the Harlequins. You built your list, you got all the models, you made all their bases, and then you just ploughed on with it, don't you?
Yeah, that took a bit longer though.
Well, of course, but even so, your method for painting and the way you do it is just unreal. Nick and Jamie both come to the same club where the channel's based from in Peterborough here, and everyone marvels at the speed of you getting your stuff on the board, and it is great quality stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's all right. And you got the Terminators at the front of the Cat Factory. You got is it the Elastris?
It's the assault cannon.
Yeah.
The 30k version of the assault cannon that's only came out. It came out, I don't know, 3 weeks ago in Forge World, 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I literally happened to be passing that following day, so they were straight in the.
It's such a great kit, It fastens on as normal, and then the ammo feed comes round to the back, just under the ducts at the back of the Terminator suit, and it looks fantastic. I'm really looking forward to getting those in the game, and rending has different rules in Cold of the Void and Zone Mortalis, so they'd be quite brutal, I'd imagine, wouldn't they? I think they rend on 5s and 6s. Rather than 6s, I think.
If you've already got rending, it is. Yeah.
So there are some extra special rules associated with Zone Mortalis that we will go through when we get into the campaign. But yeah, so these guys here we've got in the foreground here faced off against the Mechanicum. These guys are done, is that right? You just need to do bases.
Yeah, they've just got to do all the bases.
Fantastic. And today we've just blue tacked them to the board just to give people a sense of what's to come in the next couple of weeks. But Nick, thank you for sharing your hobby with us.
No problem.
We're going to get Jamie back now, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the Escalation League, and we're going to try and firm some dates up to try and put a bit of pressure on you two guys as to when we can get some games. So we'll bring Jamie back and we'll go from there. We've all reunited, ready to talk about the campaign that we plan to bring to you. Now, I think we're going to start off with maybe 500 points. Is that right, guys?
Yep.
And then every couple of weeks or every 3 weeks or once a month, we're going to increase by 500 points. So we're going to have one game of 500, 1,000 and 1,500. and the missions are going to be very themed. We're going to write some very thematic missions for this. It won't just be a slugfest. It'll be perhaps the Imperial Fist have come into a Zone Mortalis complex to save some special characters, and the Mechanicum are trying to stop them. They perhaps captured them in a previous round, and we'll play on a very specific board size. It won't be a 6x4 with 500 points in. We'll vary the size. We've got a big board at the club here, so we can vary that. I'm quite looking forward to it, really.
Yeah. And it's going to be good.
Yeah, it will. And I think it will really help people out there to understand the rules of Zone Mortalis, because on the 30k channel we're going to have lots more 6x4, 2,000, 3,000 point games, and I think it'll be a great introduction to the rules. It will document your Mechanicum and your Imperial Fists. Yeah. Is there anything particular you're looking forward to, Jamie, or apart from killing Imperial scum?
Well, it's good for me. I've got a few units I'm working on at the moment.
Okay.
I'm probably going to be able to get specifically ready for this.
Great.
Again, it's good watching Nick do the same thing as well. It gives me a lot of motivation for my army.
Can you give us a little sneak peek about props you might preview in the larger games, maybe the 1,000 or the 1,500 point games? Or
I've got some of the Forge World Ballistas.
Okay.
I don't know how you pronounce it. It's the Scutari upgrade packs, the Titan Guard. I've got a unit of them I really want to get done.
Okay.
And they're a really characterful Zone Mortalis list.
Yeah.
Based unit. So I'm looking forward to getting them ready for it.
That'll be pretty cool. And Nick, can you give us a sneaky peek of what you might have?
Breaches.
Okay.
Lots and lots of breaches.
Breaches will be cool.
And the Phalanx Warders, the special Imperial Fist breaches.
Fantastic.
And probably Pollux.
Oh, okay, that's ideal. Yeah,
playing that game with me.
Will we? Might we see a Contemptor maybe, or
no.
You're not running them? No
Contemptors.
Okay,
I'm going to go Contemptor free. Maybe a box dread.
Okay,
for old school.
Yeah,
but not for a while yet.
But a very fluffy Zone Mortalis, boarding shields, Pollux,
all shields. Yeah. Heavy flamers.
Wow.
Heavy bowlers.
And heavy flamers are great in Zone Mortalis because they get shred, and then if they get shred, they get rending as well. Is that right? If I'm remembering rightly,
I think so. Strength 4, you get.
Oh yeah, strength 4's
Strength 4's rending.
Yeah, and then they get shred as well, which is great. So that would be quite cool to fry the Mechanicum's oil within the bodies of them.
Cold of the Void's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
You don't have any hardened armour, do you?
I don't have any hardened armour. No, I think the only ones that get hardened armour are the Phalanx. If you give them the upgrade where you can deep strike, that's the only time you get hardened armour with them. Okay. But apart from that, I haven't.
Well, we'll definitely explore this. But in Cold of the Void, strength 4 or above is deadly in Zone Mortalis, which we will explore. Well, I think we might do perhaps the first 500 point game without all the special rules, and then as we progress, we'll introduce the different rules and just kind of give people that feeling of escalate a little bit more. Great. So, guys, thank you so much for coming in.
Pleasure.
Is there anything you want to add just before we leave? You've got all your hobby out?
I've got all the hobby out. I've got something I'm working on at the moment, which is my Magos. I'm not very keen on the Abyssin upgrade you couldn't get from Forge World. So I've done something different with that.
So you've done your own Abayan?
I'm trying to get that ready for this as well, for the bigger game.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, and Nick, you're good?
Yeah, just plowing through the infantry.
Yeah, you need to get those infantry done, get the sticks going. It's a great idea, and it's so effective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, so can we give the viewers at home a rough idea about when we might get a game? Maybe in a month once we're painted and ready, and
sounds good to me.
We just want to make sure it's all.
Yeah, within a month.
We'll give it a month.
Yeah.
And then we'll make sure we've got a great mission for you. We've got some lovely models. We've got the board. I need to make a few changes in the booth to accommodate a smaller board, which will get set up for you. So as I mentioned before, if you'd like to follow either of these guys, their names are popped up on the screen below. You can ask them questions directly about their painting, or how Jamie made his bases, maybe, or Nick can tell you to go and buy some foam board and some super glue and stick your models to a stick, which is a great idea. But yeah, and obviously, go to the Instagram page for the channel and the Facebook page and check us out and have a look at the photos. But gents, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all in the first game very, very soon.